So, as I told you, I'm on a trial version of this software, and it's only 15 minutes per video. That's why I couldn't finish the topic before, which is the gradient from direct to oblique orientation or from oblique to direct. Here you have a dichotomical description of each orientation, but bear in mind that it's very difficult to produce a fully 100% oblique orientation or 100% direct orientation. What we do is move around shades of gray. It's not black or white. Black or white would be a dichotomy, which is what David Brazil proposed for pedagogical purposes, okay? So that is easier to learn or to see videos that are very different from each other as the ones that we've seen in the previous video, all right? What are the characteristics regarding distribution of accents? In oblique orientation, it's as if you were talking as a robot. You accent all the content words and you leave all the lexical items or structural words unaccented. Whereas in direct orientation, you highlight what is prominent for the sake of contrast or emphasis or for newness of information. You saw that in phonetics too. Also, in oblique orientation, you have falling tones, as the ones that the male teacher in video 1 produced when he said, do the homework, do the homework. And sometimes suspensive or level tones, indicating that you are hesitating and you are focusing on codifying or producing your text or your discourse, your piece of discourse, but you are not paying attention to what the listener or the students in this case know, okay? He's presenting everything as new or as hesitation, okay? Whereas in direct orientation, you have more rising tones and falling rising tones or rising falling tones. We will see all this in Unit 4, don't worry. But it's important that you understand that there are different tone choices for each orientation. Also, as we will see in the following unit, in Unit 2, you have a prevalence of mid-key. Mid-key indicates the pitch height in which you produce your speech normally. It's your standard height, okay? And it's an unmarked option, meaning that it's what you do by defect, okay? It's like the standard production, your oral production, your standard height. Whereas in direct orientation, you have more variations of key. You have mid-key, high key, and low key that we'll see in detail in the following unit when we deal with paratones. All right, paratones are phonological paragraphs. It's the following item that we analyze in this chart. In oblique orientation, there isn't a clear segmentation of speech into paratones or phonological paragraphs. Everything is presented in a single block. There are no pauses between one topic and the other. Whereas in direct orientation, there is a clear segmentation into paratones. This is highlighted by high key at the beginning and low termination, and a relatively long pause at the end of each topic. I'm doing that now. That was an example of the end of a topic. Okay? In the following page, you have a larger presentation of this because the quality of the scanning wasn't very good. Another topic that is very important and that I will assign you to read for the following lessons is what you have here from page 26 in the handwritten number. So, as I told you, in this subject we pay very close attention to your future professional life, and we focus exclusively on the kind of discourse produced in classroom interaction and in paper presentations at scientific events. That is to say, we cater for future teachers of English and for future licenciados' needs, oral or spoken needs. In this respect, we have the subject of teacher talk and student talk. Have a look at this, read it carefully, analyze it, all the characteristics that we share with you on these pages. Especially on this one, 24, the characteristics of teacher talk, because this is virtually what most of you will be doing as future teachers of English. And I say most of you because we know that most of our students are doing the profesorado and a minor proportion are doing the licenciatura. All right? Also important to highlight these pages, a study of interpersonal teacher behavior, because this is very much related to the intonation that we use, okay? Have a look at this and focus very carefully on the importance of this area, this shaded area between dominance and cooperation. The preferred tones that the teacher use in general by preference of students. Okay, students prefer teachers to sound dominant, but at the same time to sound friendly or cooperative. And this is very much done by the rising tone, as we will see in Unit 4. Okay, don't worry so much about the details. But for the time being, remember this. The rising tone is the typical tone of teacher talk, and it's preferred by students because it combines both dominance and cooperation in one tone. Okay? Have a look at student talk characteristics, because they are your interlocutors by excellence. Okay? And why students hesitate and why they use very forms of speech relating to lower volume or lower tempo. All right. And here also you have a comparison, a chart that compares teacher talk and student talk. Okay. For example, speaking time. We normally speak much more than the students. It's what I'm doing now, 100%, because of the pandemic. But we normally speak much more, but not just because we are teachers and we have a dominant role in this setting, but because we follow what is called IRF. IRF is described, no, it's not here. Here, sorry, speaking time distribution, it's slide 31. IRF is a kind of exchange that you normally find in classroom interaction: initiation, response, and feedback. Okay? For example, if I say, so students, tell me, what's the time? It's 10 o'clock. Thank you. That thank you is the feedback by the teacher, okay? This feedback doesn't normally take place in everyday interaction. If you are in the street and you ask someone, excuse me, could you tell me the time, please? It's 10 a.m. You don't say thank you or that's right. You say thank you and not that's right, okay? So you don't say feedback. You don't produce a feedback to a passerby. You don't say, oh, very good, you got it right, okay? You may reply to those people, but that you're asking the time, but with thank you, for example. But in classroom, we normally give feedback as the third part of this triadic exchange. Triadic is a name of or a word that refers to the three parts of the conversation, or the three moves. You say, what's the time? Initiation. Can you tell me what's the time, please? Then the student's response, the R response, they say, it's 10 o'clock, teacher. And you say, very well, or very good. All right? And you give the feedback. It's a triadic exchange. As you can see, the teacher produces the initiation and the feedback. So it's 66.6% of the speaking time. Whereas the students only say, it's 10 o'clock, teacher. It's 33%. You see how we divide the time, the speaking time, in three parts. Initiation and feedback by the teacher, that is to say 66.6%, and response or reply by the students. It's only 33%. So by nature, the triadic exchange, which are the building blocks of classroom interaction, by nature, because of the way we teach in any language, teachers speak more because we need to provide feedback. All right? Here you have examples of oblique and direct orientation in oral presentations. We won't be seeing this in this video because it will take a lot of time, all right? But you can search for this. For those of you who are doing the licenciatura, you can search for these two videos, and see the difference between prosodic characteristics of more oblique. Ana Botella is more oblique, and because he's concentrated on encoding the message in English, because she used to be the mayor of Madrid, la alcaldesa de Madrid, and she's paying a very close attention to the encoding stage, the text that she's producing. Whereas Madonna, in this speech at the Billboard Awards, she's producing a very much direct orientation speech, sorry. And you have here the prosodic characteristics of paper presentations for those of you who are doing the licenciatura, but also those of you who are doing the teacher training. Have a look at this, because you may be a teacher and you still may present papers at conferences. Okay, so have a look at this, although you will not be working systematically on this in your practicos. Okay, so you have more characteristics there. And we pass on to part C, of Unit 1 in the following video. All right? So I will stop here now. I encourage you to read all this material of teacher talk, student talk, and paper presentations characteristics. And if you have any questions, just let us know, right? Bye, and we'll meet again in the following video.